I just want to use this as a way to engage art more, see if I can't create more discussions with art. But let's just start from the beginning. So, I think the good way to start off something like this is to say, hello, I am Jaime. I have a last name, and if you want to find it, good luck to you. Might as well I'll reveal on an accident probably 1,000 times. But the channel is the Critic Jaime. That's me. I put it as a critic. I think that no matter what I do or how I like to view myself, I do come off a critical at a lot of times. I don't see too much of a problem with how critical I am, other than it can to get in the way of my own fun sometimes. But the main thing that is the critic is just let's just be critiquing. Let's just talk about things in a critical way where we find the value, we find out where things are lacking in value, we find where things can be improved, or we just appreciate where things are so excellent. I don't want to be overly negative. I don't like being overly negative as a human being. I think the more positive you can be, the better it is going to be for you in your own life. So that's what I try to live by. I try to live with art and through art as a way to stay positive and a way to be a part of positivity, because you can just want positivity, but if you have no part in it, you're just an outsider looking in that feels the thoughts of positivity without being a positive person. So the only way for me to be a positive person is to engage. This is the engagement. I will draw. I'll try to keep up my own art outside of this. Um, I work as I can. I have a film degree, and I'm doing what I can after I've moved down here to Huntington Beach to be a part of art. I have been able to be a part of 2 photo shoots. That's it so far. The goal is to continue joining as much as I can and seeing where that takes me. So hopefully you'll see me in a couple dog food commercials. Maybe I'll be selling Vaseline to y'all or some shit. Um, but that is the goal. I got to be careful not to touch the microphone. My cat is over there looking at nothing, so I'm going to be keeping an eye on that, just so you know. That is me. That's nothing of me, honestly. I didn't say much. That's going to happen a lot. I ramble a bit. I don't want to write down an outline just yet, because this first one, I kind of just want to talk and allow my brain to do what it does best, which is just ramble for no reason, to no point, and to no end. And I'll just try to cut myself off at about 30 minutes, maybe 40. I don't know. But I do have to go to work at a pizza shop and wash dishes and deliver pizzas. So I cannot waste too much time. But yeah, I don't even know where to get started besides just saying hello and who I am. But yeah, my name's Jaime. I'm 26-year-old as of now. I'm originally from San Francisco, moved up to Humboldt, California, and I've been staying at Humboldt and going to college there since 2018. I moved back for a small bit in 2019, and then I fully established living in Humboldt from 2019 up until 2026 this year. And I had been living with my roommate Andrew. He's my best friend in my entire life. I enjoyed my time in Humboldt extremely. I I honestly can't talk about it too much without just crying about it because of how much I miss it and how raw the emotions are. Um, but if you're ever in Humboldt, just know it is a paradise if you allow it to be. It's I know it feels a little hoity-toity to describe things and like, oh, this would be paradise. It's heaven on earth for shit. But you got to live your life in that way. It is true. You have to enjoy a type of living that Humboldt offers, which is seclusion, slowness of life, simplicity, and nature. I enjoy all of those things, but I only learned to enjoy it after I moved up there and just kind of rerouted the way I thought about life and the way I thought about appreciating everything. Living in Humboldt taught me how to appreciate life in a more raw and realistic way. My cat is doing stuff. I gotta let him out, but I can't. I just can't look at him at all times. So yeah, Humboldt is a slow place. It is not a place of activity. It is. It obviously has a lot of activities, but it's up to you to go find that and actively give yourself the opportunity to get out your comfort zone and try something new. For example, just going out to theaters by yourself. Maybe you don't have a date and there's just a show that this is the show in town, this at the lounge, and there's the other theater lounge, that's it. Go. If you can give it a shot, just go. There's not going to be people who want to go. Maybe there'll be parties, maybe there'll be this or that. But you can go to do things by yourself up there and it's an enjoyable time. It's good. It's just lacking in working opportunities in abundance. There is work up there, but it is not in abundance like it is in the city. And I realized that while I enjoy living in Humboldt, I can't really grow more than where I was at that time without an extreme amount of selfish effort and even more isolation in a way that I didn't really find as much value now that I have a want to connect with humans in society. You know, you can go up there and you can live like a woodsman and be apart away from society as far as you want. But I just realized I don't want to live that way. I realized that life is meant to be enjoyed and appreciated and spent with people, which is a bit sucky because I just made like a life up there. And, you know, it's hard to leave my best friend and everything, but in order to continue to be a good person or a person that I actively enjoy life and try to do good things, I needed to push myself into a new environment and push myself into new things so I can meet more people. I could meet people up there, but I want to meet a greater variety. I want to meet all kinds of people. I want to see all kinds of things. And this area, for the past rough month that I've been here, yeah, just about a full month now, kind of, it has given me everything I wanted more. It's giving me opportunities, it's giving me small encounters, large encounters, it's giving me people to make up a conversation with and try to make connections. I've met so many people in such a short amount of time. And even though maybe nothing is, I think, I just don't want to talk about it right now, but I think there's something substantial that's going on. But within the short amount of time, I've been able to experience all that and at least try. And that's the entire goal. I just need to know that I'm trying. You can try, you can have so much you want to do in life, but the important thing that I always come to the conclusion of is that if you just try, as long as you try and your efforts are pointed in a direction that spins more positivity than negativity, then you're probably doing enough. You don't need to get too hard on yourself about being a fucking savior of mankind or the best, most money gathering person or the best this, the number one that. Perfection is a fallacy. Perfection is not a thing you should really think you can achieve, but something you should work towards. Not being perfect, but towards the idea of being greater. You know, I try. I have my own. It's like we all, the English language is a great thing, but I also like nothing is as it is without a conversation, without us defining it with each other and coming as a community to understand how everything is defined. So if I use certain words, my understanding of them might be different. So I'll have to explain it to everybody as I go on. As you can probably tell, I am rambling a lot. I try not, I don't want to do an outline. Eventually, I think I have to because, I mean, I just don't think talking at nauseum with no fucking points being made is the best thing ever. But maybe there's some value there. I don't know. Who am I to say what the value is? That's the whole point. That's why I'm just doing it right now, as raw and terrible as this is, because I don't know my own value until I just start doing it, and then I can see how to improve it. Maybe this is good enough as it is, but I don't think it is. I just want to at least try and put out something bad, and then I'll fix it later. As you might have heard that before. Don't even worry about putting out something good. Sometimes to be an artist, you just need to put out anything, and you can fix it later. My ear just popped, and it's been like the third time today. I talked about Humboldt a little bit. I didn't talk about San Francisco. I come from a pretty, I don't want to say, I don't know how large my family is, but I'd say it's pretty large compared to most people. Grew up with four sisters, all older than me. Grew up with my mom, and that's about all I want to share about that right now. I feel like discussing too much family or the personal details is good to an extent, but it all should come at the right time and with the right people around you so you can have an engaging discussion with it. And me just blabbering on about my upbringing or shit like that, I don't really see a purpose to do that here. And a different thing, sure, we'll talk about it. But if you know me, you already know that I'm so open that I'll just tell you straight out. But I'm not going to just do that for the general public online. You can do your own research and figure it out your goddamn self. Also, just in the middle of this, subscribe, whatever. But mostly leave comments of things I should already improve. I'm not going to be able to improve much for the camera. Just know that now. I have what I have. I have what I have. I have the systems that I got. If I can get more money, I will improve it. If I can get help, I'll have some help and it'll all get better. But all things take time, so I'm not going to rush that specific stuff. I understand the quality needs to improve on that, but it's something I can do later on. What the important thing I want to be seen is topics to be discussed, my manner of speech, just if I'm speaking too fast or mumbling my words, maybe I throw too many ums out there. I just want to be real, and being real is allowing myself to make those kinds of mistakes. But I also still want to improve my speech skills and make sure it's at least something palatable. Obviously, a lot of the things I do won't be for everybody, and that's it. That's fine. There's nothing more I should be concerning towards that. It popped again. My ear just popped for the fucking fourth. But just leave comments on ways for me to improve. I have to fucking talk with it. I'm trying to have coffee. I went to this coffee place that's right by my house, and it's like a nice Vietnamese woman. She was there, and she was just all old and sweet. And she was like, "Hello." I like that. I like people like that who just feel very welcoming. I've been taking a lot of walks around, and sometimes, man, I can tell like a lot of people are wanting to just say hello, but they're all up in their own heads. So I'm glad that I'm here now that I can be the one to say hello first. You know, a part of the being a part of life is taking steps for other people and just doing those awkward little things and taking pride in it. You should feel proud that you say hello to people on the street first and that you are engaging with them. You don't need to stop and fucking talk to them your entire goddamn day, but it doesn't hurt that if you're walking down the street and someone's walking towards you, it doesn't hurt to just smile, say hello, good morning, good afternoon, and then keep moving with your day. If the energy is so positive, throw them a compliment, just something that's true, because there's so much more to compliment than we realize day to day. You can like someone's demeanor, you can like their manner of speech, you can like the way they walk, you can like their stride, you can like the how the air shapes around them as they pass by. It doesn't matter. The main thing that matters is that you have all of these opportunities to spread kindness and joy to people, and we get all in our own heads about not doing it in an effect to not be awkward or seen. Fuck that. Nah, just be awkward, be seen. And the second you take the chance, you realize how not awkward all of it is, and that all of the awkward things we say is awkward is just made up by people who are unconfident in themselves. So fuck that. Take control of your own confidence, take control of how you interact with people. You can be a positive force without being corny, because corniness is also a thing that's created by people with insecurities. So if you have insecurities, live with that. But I'd say fuck it, because why would you be insecure about being a nice person? There's nothing to be insecure about there. I have a lot of opinions on a lot of things. I actually enjoyed that little ramble I just went on, because that's a part of what I want this entire thing to be. Opportunities for me to just express certain observations I have. I try to observe a lot, and that's where I kind of feel like I'm too much of an observer. I need to be interactive with people more, and so that is one of the ways. Like, oh, instead of just saying you can do that thing, actively walk that walk, walk the talk. So, but there's a lot of observations that I have that's like, well, I'm not gonna do nothing about that. It's like if I observe like a fucking father and his son at the park, I'll just appreciate, oh man, family and shit. But yeah, it's not like I'm not just gonna go out there and start a family because of that. I'm gonna do it for other reasons, which I want, but whatever. So let's just try to get back on the center of hello, who am I, and shit like that. I went to college in 2018. I stepped away from it when COVID hit for about year and a half, 2 years, I think. And I went back, got my film degree, graduated with a BA. I stayed there for a little bit extra time, another 2 years or so, and I was just hanging out, working at this place with people with disabilities. I won't go the name out, but I would just lead people in different job environments and try to coach them through improving their job placement skills and social skills. And I enjoyed that heavily for the 5 years I was doing it. I started in 2021, and I really, really enjoyed that job. I'm happy that I will be getting to do something somewhat similar, but mostly just focusing on supporting people with disabilities. So, yay for that. I will say that if you don't like your work in life, you should really try to just find something you enjoy, or find simple ways to make your job easier and more enjoyable for yourself. I will choose not to work at McDonald's because I know there's a lot of other jobs out there that I can have a lot more fun with. But say if the only job choice I had was working at some place I don't want to, such as a McDonald's, like a lot of people use for reference, figure out how to have fun. If the people you work with sucks, that is very unfortunate. And at that point, you might just really need to be searching for a different kind of place of work, because the people you work with extremely matter. That's undeniable. If the people you work with just suck ass, you might just have to leave that position and find somewhere else. But if they're not that bad, there's a lot of opportunities for you to have fun almost anywhere you work. As long as you keep your head on straight, you do the things you're supposed to, and you don't allow yourself to get pushed around unnecessarily, you have a lot of power in the workplace that a lot of people don't realize. You can say no to a lot of shit, and you could draw the line of, I need to be paid if I'm going to do this. I need to be talked to if I'm going to be doing this. I need to be talked to in a respectful way. If these simple things aren't respected and the requests are of a honest, earnest place that you really just need these things to be sustainable here, there should be not many problems. And it's okay if maybe you got to do one or two things that, oh, you signed up to do it, so you're going to do it. Yeah, fucking chagrin. Do it well, pull up your bootstraps and just go handle it. Um, I didn't know what I was trying to say there. I got off on a tangent about that. But random ramble about work. Again, I'm sorry if I just start rambling about shit like that. But maybe that's what people enjoy. I don't know. I think that most of the things I say can be a bit annoying, just because it comes off a little preachy. I feel like it comes off preachy because I don't like trying to tell other people how to live their lives. And that's what it feels like I'm doing a lot of the time. When really it's just me explaining my observations of life and how I live my life. And hopefully, by me explaining my own life and the way I am very happy and content with myself, if I explain how I view things, maybe it'll help shape other people's understanding of life and the simple ways they live. So maybe, maybe it is preachy, and maybe that's just the way it got to be. Maybe that's just the way I'm meant to say it. I can't control what's meant to be. I can only be what's meant to be. So there's that, I guess. But yeah, I went to college there. I graduated. First, I went up there with to do computer sciences, and the entire reason I went to Humboldt was just I was just fairly unhappy in the home. I have a lot of reasons why, and I just we can discuss that at a different time. But the main point was I wanted to escape. I wanted to go somewhere far away. I wanted to afford it. I didn't want to go into debt. I wanted somewhere cold and rainy. Humboldt was exactly all of those things. My high school counselor at the time, he was just a rock star in picking out that place. He really picked the absolute perfect location for me off of hearing the things I said. I think it was the first choice he gave me, and it was the perfect choice. The time I spent in Humboldt will stick with me for my entire life until the day I die because it gave me a lot of security. It gave me the understanding of how my life is my life and I can do so much good with it. And it's really not as complicated as I try to make it out to be. I can make all these observations in life and I could be right or I could be wrong. And it honestly doesn't matter because all that matters is what am I actually doing day to day? Did I at least try to socialize today? If I didn't, why? What am I doing with my day? Is it a positive thing? Am I stewing in nonsense for no reason? It's there's nothing up there to make me feel like it wasn't all my own fault or to my own decision making. The ear is getting worse. I have to go fucking. But yeah, I went up there for computer sciences. I understood that I needed to just everything's up to me and shit. And the reason I switched from computer science is I switched from computer sciences to history. And honestly, it wasn't the right switch. It should have been film from the get go. But you need to live a life to understand the reasons why you need to live another kind of life. So with computer sciences, my goal in life was to just do the thing I feel like I'm good at already and just stick with it. I'm good at computers. I'm good at a lot of it comes from gaming and just being a tech savvy person. I just see it not being as complicated as it is for others. I can learn these skills pretty quickly and just start implementing them with not much difficulty. But the thing is once I reached Humboldt and I left the city, I realized how much I love nature. I realized how much I actually do enjoy being outside. I enjoy the wind on my face. I enjoy getting an opportunity to go out with people and be outside. My entire life at that up to that point was very heavy on staying inside and game with my friends online. And I still see that there was nothing wrong with that, especially with everything going on in my life. That was my escape. That was the way I dealt with everything. That was the way I got through all the things I needed to get through was by having my friends and spending time with them online playing Call of Duty Zombies. A very classic thing. It's a tale as old as time with all that kind of shit. So, you know, again, I can discuss this in a longer format some other time with more detail, but I just want to get some shits going with this. So, I switched from computer sciences after I realized how much I loved being outside and how much I didn't want to be stuck at a computer staring at computer screens all the time. So I switched to history. I just figured that, oh, I extremely love history. Maybe there's some sort of future life where maybe I'll minor in film with history and I'll use my historical knowledge to help with documentaries and travel with that. And honestly, even talking about it now, that sounds fine. But I just didn't want to make my life more focused on the history. I didn't want to get stuck in rooms doing all that research for so long. And because if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it all the way and I'm going to get all the research I can and read all the things I need to read. So I'd rather do that with film. I'd rather do that with art. I don't really understand how I even made that conclusion, but I think it just comes from I always enjoyed and found a lot of joy with my family through movies. I found that some of the best times up to that point that I had with my family was watching movies where we stopped getting so all up in our heads about other bullshit that didn't matter and we just got to enjoy a good movie. It didn't matter what it was, it doesn't matter if it was Transformers, this, that, or whatever. But we got together and everything stopped being an argument when we just watched a movie and was quiet, you know? I think I valued that. And when I engaged with film and I realized how fun it was to create a film, how much activity and how much I'm moving, how much I'm talking to people, how much it's satisfying all these little intricacies in my brain where I like to hyperfixate on all these little details and talk about it with people, it hit all those marks for me. But the point is that it gave me joy and it was creatively liberating. And I need that more. I need to be able to be myself in a creative way because I think it's good. I think it's good for me and I think I'm good at it that I'm able to come up with things on the fly creatively. I can come up with enough stories in a heartbeat. I don't know if they're good or not, but I think it's a skill to have the flow completely open. Everyone can do it, but I know that I can and I do actively allow myself to let the flow come out. This entire time, for example, I'm talking and my only outlines are a couple words on the thing that say talk about this, talk about that, talk about that. That's the most I have. Um so obviously there's something there that I can do. It feels egotistical talking to myself in a positive way at all. But you need to be able to acknowledge where your strengths and weaknesses are. You need to be honest with yourself that you are a strong person too. And while that feels kind of egotistical and selfish, it's just true. It's just as long as you make sure it's true and you don't go over the top. You need to keep the lid on you, but you need to acknowledge that you're a tall glass of water. Speaking of, I dropped on my coffee. So switched it to film. I had a great time with my film classmates. Shout out to when did we graduate? 2024 class film. I'm not gonna name names, but y'all know who you are. I feel like if I name one name, I have to name every single person, so I'm just not gonna do that. Just know that's how I work a lot of things. It's like if I tell one person this, I need to tell everyone that's surrounding it and anyone that I can tell anything else to, I need to tell them as well. It's like if I'm going to send a birthday present to one person, every person that I know, I need to start sending a birthday present to. And that is extreme. And I feel horrible if I don't. And so I need to back off. I'd rather get nothing and just keep it like a fucking system where we just try to treat each other the best we can every single day. That's a whole separate thing that I can talk about at a different time. But shout out to the class of 2024. Definitely shout out Sarah, shout out Michelle, and shout out David. I didn't have as many Dave. I didn't have many classes with Dave, but Michelle and Sarah, I had a great amount of classes with. I loved them. They were amazing. I wish I worked with them more, but it's up to me to contact them. So I'll contact them when I'm ready. But yeah, Humboldt was awesome. I enjoyed the campus. The school was fine. There was a lot of activity, a lot of protests and stuff like that. I am I have my beliefs and I believe in them strongly. I'm always open to change my thoughts so long as a conversation is had. I think that I should never be so stubborn in anything to say that I am fully one thing or the other. But at the end of the day, we're living in a physical world, so you must acknowledge that you are on one side of something or another. So if it comes up, if things come up politically, spiritually, religion, I will describe what I am in the moment and define it. But no, just because you're defined as one thing doesn't mean you can't be multiple things. You know, it's like a jack of all trades. I consider that to be what I am. I can be good at a lot of things and a master of none, but I can also still be a master of at least one. But at least be capable of mastering anything, be capable of learning simple concepts, be able to have an understanding, a fundamental understanding of a great number of things. And that's normal. You do that anyways, but you just don't realize it because you live in boxes. And if you live in a box, you're going to stay in that box. The reality is you are in this box, but you can change the size of the box, but acknowledge there's always going to be something outside of your boundaries of control. That's okay. Hopefully, you can keep growing and growing and growing, and your box will encompass all these things that you want to. Or maybe you'll just become a triangle at one point and you'll come back to a circle or whatever. You don't have to be something forever. You can be anything you want to, and it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to have life happen at you and you change based off what life has done to you. We are just the imprintations of life. We aren't life. We're life itself, but we're also the reflection of the imprint. We're that which is left behind. That's a whole thing. I can't even begin to describe what that is, but maybe I'll describe it later. That's a bit of my background. I live in Huntington Beach now with a friend. I am just trying to get by. I'd love to work in film. I want to act. I've never done it before seriously, and I'm getting up in my head about it a little bit. This is going to help me feel better about it and actively try, because I think I should try. I think there's an opportunity. I think there's this type of way that I talk and energy that I carry around me that should work for acting and work very well. But I just need to be open that I'm going to try a lot and I'm going to fail, which I'm okay with. But I need to try. And that's it. I just need to try. The trying is the hardest part. But once you flip that switch in your brain and say, okay, do it, you're going to do it. And so I'm just doing that. But I'm just one thing at a time. First, I need to fucking get a stable job, get that going. Then I got to take my car in, make sure my cats are good, make sure I can move out then, get my space going. But, you know, I shouldn't get too caught up in waiting for the right moment to start something that I want. There is very few times where the moments will line up. So you just need to take life by the reins and try to create that moment by yourself. It's good to look for an omen and see the path ahead of you by the universe telling you what to do. But sometimes you just need to tell the universe what you need and start making it happen. The universe can only give you so much, and it's going to give you a lot more than we're able to recognize at a given time. But it also still will require you to put in your own effort to create everything you want. I didn't move here because I was given a golden ticket to take all your stuff, transport it magically, and get everything moved down. No, I had to create connections. I had to do risky things like say goodbye to work, move down with only so much money, with a shitty car, and with a bunch of stuff I had to leave behind. So you just have to take a chance at times and just start walking off the plank and hope, and really hope and expect that there's another plank at the end of it to connect your path. But you just need to walk off the edge sometimes and just know you're going to land, and you're going to have the ability to keep walking after the fact. But you need to free fall for a while and be afraid. And that's good. Once you do that, you lived. People go for a high in life and seek for all this excitement and adrenaline. You can do that every day by just taking little chances in these weird moments that you don't even realize you're taking the chance for. Hard to describe, hard to come up with a specific example, but again, leave comments for me to reply to, and I'll talk about it. I'll figure it out with you. Nothing should be figured out alone, and that's what I'm hoping this is too. I'm gonna get a lot of negativity for the things I say. Obviously, already with the MMA shit, I see like, oh man, every now and then I just be like, why are you doing it? Oh well, there's nothing you can do about it. uh Only thing that I really care about is that maybe there's going to be someone out there that I will have a positive effect on in their life, and they will have what. No, I don't really care if they have a positive effect in mine, because it's my life is my own. But if I get to be a positive force in someone's life, that's it. Then I have done something good, and that's pretty much all I need to do. So hopefully this leads to that, and if it doesn't, well, I tried. So there's that too. I feel appreciative that I at least tried. I don't know what to talk about. Um, I was see already. I don't know how long this is, and I have to go to work in a while. But I guess I'll just try to save some of the things I wanted to talk about. Like I was going to talk about Spider-Man Noir and the movie The Furious. By the way, let's just talk about that real quick. I love Spider-Man Noir and I love The Furious. Both are absolutely fantastic. If you like noir, you have to watch Spider-Man Noir. If you don't like noir at all, I understand why you wouldn't like Spider-Man Noir. But recognize it is a solid noir. It is a solid attempt at recreating a style that isn't around quite as much. It exists, obviously, nothing's gone forever, but it is making an excellent attempt at capturing an older style, and it's doing a wonderful job. I'll talk about it more on the next one, I think, but I at least want to include that here. On The Furious, which is the action movie I just saw yesterday, it came out this year. Fantastic action. Some of the best action I'm ever going to see in my life. And I am now, tonight, I'm going to watch The Raid. I'm going to figure out other movies to watch. But that shit was fucking fantastic. Please go and engage with that. I just need those movies to succeed so we can get more. That was part of, I'll talk about it more, but the only critique I have is I just want more. That's it. I'm not going to talk about more, but go watch that if you can. It's in theaters now. Go enjoy it because I actually enjoyed hearing all the reactions around me when certain shit started happening. I love hearing people react to that at the same time as me. But yeah, those are just two things. I'll talk about it more, but let's get back on track for at least the introductory thing, which is this. The main point of this day to day or podcast to podcast, I guess, is that I just want to discuss things of art and life. Now, to me, I look at this thing. I remember it's called Understanding Comics. I can't remember the author's name, but if you look it up, you'll know which one I'm talking about. Scott McCloud, maybe. And he described art in a really interesting way that I always used as like a bit of an example of how I describe it to other people, but I've taken it and turned it into my own thing. He had an example of a caveman being chased by a lion, and pretty much everything else that the caveman was doing would be considered art. Or yeah. Now here, let me start over. So the caveman is searching for food. He gets chased by a saber-toothed lion. The saber-toothed lion is chasing him, trying to kill him. He's running. He's trying to get past it without getting killed. All of that is survival. All of that is basic survival that we need to just exist, and we have to focus on staying alive. He escapes the tiger. It jumps over its head and it falls into a cliff. He looks down at the tiger dead, and the caveman does this. He puts like hands on his head and he sticks out his tongue and waggles it all to mock him. That's art. That's it. That's about as far as we need to go. That's art by itself. It is that the gracious and beautiful things that come as a byproduct of life itself that do not directly correlate with survival. That's how I understand his definition of it. My definition does kind of include survival at its own form too, because I think the universe is an art form in and of itself. I don't know what this universe is. I'm not here to describe that my point is the right one or that my belief in the universe and my understanding of where we are is right. It doesn't matter if I'm right. It matters that I have a fundamental understanding of my world that I currently live in and how I interact with those around me. That matters way more. The fact that I can treat people right, I try to be a force that does things to make things better and make everything sustain and go towards something that's even better than we can even think about without even understanding what that means. But as long as I am doing that, that's my role in the universe. Man, I don't even know where I'm going with that. I see survival though still being its own type of art too, because the universe is a beauty and beauty is art. So it's complicated, you know? It's like I can look at AI and I know that's not art, but at the same time it is. It's just a shitty art that I don't like. So my understanding of art is constantly changing and being challenged as I see things I don't like. It's like you have to look at some dark shit and I still have to say it's art even though I don't want to. You know, it's like I can't be happy with it, but I have to accept that it's art. It's just that not every art is good or bad. It's art, and that's it. It's a fucking loose definition that's really so all encompassing. It's almost says that nothing is art because of that. But that's what I believe. I believe if you're going to say nothing is, everything is. Everything has two sides. Everything has this other side of its coin. So it's all of it. Everything is everything all at the same time as it's nothing. So yeah, I will have to come back on this topic. Again, this one is more of me just saying hello, if anything, and just trying to get the ball rolling. Um, I figure I'm gonna get fucking 2 views, my Andrew and maybe my roommate, but that's the way it goes. Who cares? Put out things even if you know no one's gonna listen to you. Just because no one's gonna be able to view the artwork you make in life doesn't mean you shouldn't make it. You'll die and your artwork will still be valuable, even if no one knows about it. Even if it goes on to the end of time and blows up along with the earth and it's gone forever. Art is still important that you should do it anyways. Do it anyways. This is a big part of me doing art that it doesn't matter if I'm successful in terms of getting views or notoriety or fucking money from this. The main thing is that this is going to make me feel better and that I'm trying to do art and that I'm trying to engage. I'm trying to put myself out there. I'm trying to be a part of this world in a way that I didn't think was even possible, that I can be seen by other people and hopefully maybe there's something that's of value for them. It's a value to me, so maybe it's a value to other people. You shouldn't you shouldn't deprive other people of your own self. And that's a selfish thing. Again, it's an egotistical way to look at yourself, but you need to be a bit egotistical to live a very fulfilling life, to know that you've done a good job and that you're doing a good job. Put yourself out there. It's okay. It's what's the worst thing that's going to happen? Someone's going to say they don't like it. Who gives a fuck? Because you could just not like their shit, and if you don't like their shit, then what does it matter if they don't like your shit? You know, Someone that I like is going to like what I'm doing. Me personally, I wouldn't listen to this just because I don't need to listen to other people or want to discuss too much about something I feel very passionate about on my free time. I'd rather listen to things I don't have any concept or frame of, learn new things, experience things, specific things that are new to me. That's why I love history specifically, because it's about different parts of the world. You learn different cultures, things that I will not be able to get by thinking in my room alone. I don't need to listen to other people tell me things I can figure out by just thinking and reflecting upon life. I am grateful if I get to have a conversation with someone and talk about it through it with them. But if I'm not going to have a conversation that I can talk about it in the moment, I don't really give a fuck to listen to all that. But maybe someone like this, engage with me. Just put a comment on, and then we can start that between us. We'll talk about it between you and me, or you and me, and you and me. Who knows how many? But hey, big boy. But yeah, do art, live art. Art is everything. Art is the way I hold my cat, the way that he scratches his face on the cardboard box. Art is the way we eat. Art is the way we cook. Art is the way we walk. Art is the way we smell. Art is the way we experience. Art is experience as a whole. Art is everything and nothing. So just choose to be everything, you know? Choose to be everything. Choose to be everything you want to be and more. And don't feel any kind of guilt about it. Don't feel any kind of badness. You should only feel badness if you're genuinely hurting someone because of it. And if you're hurting someone because of it, reflect on if that person is getting hurt for no reason because of themselves, or if you are really this force that's being a negative piece of shit and hurting this person by just ignoring their life, ignoring their own wants and needs. It's hard to live your own life and be your own person while also still sustaining and respecting other people's wants and needs. But that's the game. That's society. We need to figure out how to satisfy as much as we can while keeping realistic expectations of what we should see and expect from people. We can't expect other people to understand everything on a dime. We need to expect that we need to explain everything to a very obnoxious effect because people do not understand each other. And that's okay. Be the force that initiates the understanding. Be the force that says, I understand this will be hard, but I want to come to an understanding. So I'm going to temper my expectations. I'm going to be ready to switch my opinions and improve my opinions based on what I learned from you. And I will also be okay that maybe this just won't work out and that we will just need to figure out how to live separately but together while maintaining distance. Very complicated, very rambly, but I hope you enjoy that. I could talk a lot more about art, but I also need to go to work. So I'm going to have to wrap this up. But again, I want the takeaway to be, I already said who I am, and I will just expose myself more the more I do these. So if this is all horrible and confusing and rambly and drawn out and really just amounts to nothing in terms of you got nothing out of what I said, sorry about that. I wasted time. Sorry, Andrew, if I wasted your time watching this. but it's going to be developed as I do more of this. I will engage more with the art discussion again. I'm just trying to think if there's anything lasting I want to say specifically about art. Just don't be too rigid. Just be okay to be a jelly that fills any kind of space. Like Bruce Lee, be water, but be even more liquid, be even more space encompassing. Be allowed that this is a boundless existence. Form yourself in this boundlessness. Be boundless. Do not become rigid. If you want to become rigid to achieve one specific thing in life, I believe you will be excellent. But if you're going to do that, then you need to understand how selfish you must be for that and how you are going to absolutely not fit into society that way. And again, that's fine. But just understand how other people are not going to want to be around you. And that's fine. Life is hard. Art shouldn't be easy. It is sometimes, but it really, at the end of the day, it all is complicated and difficult to withhold. So do your best to withhold. Retain. That's a better word. Do your best to retain. Do your best to take in information and do something positive with it. I want to go on more, but I don't have all the time. I don't know how long this has been recording for. I have to edit this down later anyway, so I'll just leave it with I wish you the best. Leave comments, subscribe, like, whatever. But please leave comments and ideas for us to talk about. I want to just talk about things. I would love if I could have a conversation with someone who's able to have a good conversation. I don't like talking to people if it's going to be just a poor conversation where you're just waiting for your turn to talk. No, it should be that we're both reflecting on ourselves and each other at the same time. It's hard, and I'm not going to find those people very easily, but I will find them. I have faith in that. So, yeah, have faith in yourself, have faith in art, have faith in doing the right thing. You know when you're doing the right thing. You know it by your heart. And if it's really so against society, the thing you think is right, then you need to reflect. You need to reflect and really determine what your place in society is. If you're hurting someone and that's what you consider good, reflect on that because that is not good. Well, maybe it is if you're killing pedophiles, but besides that, I don't know, bro. We got to figure it out. But again, everything's a discussion. Nothing is just, we should use one example to describe everything. Art is everything, and it's a pain to have to admit some of it, but it is, and that's what it is. But let's just take what we can and try to be the most positive and create the life we all want to see. I should stop talking and get ready for work. Be good. Much love to everybody.